In this video, we're going to start to make encryption algorithms a bit more complex by looking at cryptanalysis, or the method of trying to break encryption algorithms. So if we can think of ways to break an algorithm, then we should use that algorithm or make it more complex, right? Now, let's start with an example. Cryptanalysis by a guess. So let's say that you get this message and you assume it's a plain text message, as in it should be relatively easy to decode, right? So let's start with assuming the break between two words is preserved. So each of these is a single word. Now, English has relatively few short words. I'm not saying it has few, but just relatively few short words. It's a finite list of short words. And there's a strong clue in the repeated R here, such that we can see that it's a short word that has two same letters, consecutive same letters. Since the WR is also a word, you see WR there, it is likely to be to or off. So this might be too, as in too much, and this should be either or off, as in turn off, and of or to. We guess it's that. So we can substitute W with a T everywhere and the R with an O everywhere. And cryptanalysts have a list of common prefixes and suffixes. So prefix is which letters commonly start words, suffixes which letters commonly end words. It's the equivalent of playing hangman. Now, I'll leave it as an exercise for you to break this message. Shouldn't be too hard, would it? Assuming a computer doesn't have this knowledge or intuition as you do, how long do you suppose it would take a computer to brute force attack a Caesar cipher, for example? Now, a brute force attack of that cipher with the 26 letters of the alphabet would have to try 26 factorial combinations. So it would take over 1,000 years if working at one permutation per microsecond. That's why analysts use a combination of guesses, strategies, mathematical skills. So knowledge of the language, for example, there's higher frequency of letters E, T, O, and A. Good strategy for hangmen, by the way. There's the nature and context of the text. For example, higher frequency for X due to X-ray in medical articles and so on. Frequency distribution analysis for long messages. What do you think would be easier to break? A short text or long text message? I'll leave it up to you to figure that one out. But just a tiny hint, which one has more information? Now, with the aid of a computer, with the cryptanalysis knowledge and context, you can break a cipher of adequate length in an hour. So you have to make your encryption algorithms good. So it doesn't, you don't only have substitution, which is a confusion. The goal of substitution is just confusing or difficulty determining how the message was transformed into ciphertext. You also have to have transposition. So a good encryption algorithm should have both confusion and diffusion, ensuring that the output bits have no obvious relationship to the input bits, and spreading the effect of one plain text bit to the other bits in the ciphertext. There are a number of transposition algorithms available. I think it's safe to say the one that is most traditional or the classical transposition algorithm is column transposition, where you you lay out the text, plain text, in columns and then rearrange based on that. So transposing the text kind of thing. So if we take an example, having that message, this is a message to show how column or transposition works. So we write out the message that way, and then we transpose it the other way. So write it out that way. So every column is a single word. So it doesn't preserve spaces, and it's actually more secure than substitution ciphers, although they look less secure. They leave the plain text letters intact, so the work of the cryptanalyst is more exhausting and relies more on the human judgment of what looks right. Now, if the cryptanalyst is looking at it, it will start by looking at if all the normal frequencies of the letter appear in the ciphertext. He can start by just performing transposition or reversing transpositions back by just choosing column length of 2, 3, 4 or something like that. It would take a bit of time, so you would see where you can also use common approaches like digraph or bigraph analysis, where you just see try to find out where a pair of columns lie by finding the common words that have the same letter adjacent to each other in the word, like in the word to, for example, and off, and that kind of things. Now, as I said, these are simple encoding algorithms, but you should actually consider, you can use both of them. You can combine them to make them stronger. So you have substitution and transposition, because they are a building block of encryption. So you use substitution to hide the letters of the plain text. Multiple substitutions dissipate higher letter frequencies, and then you use transposition to scramble the text. So you both have confuse and diffuse. And then the product cipher, a combination of two ciphers, are performed on one after another. So in the formal terms, we encode with encoder 2 the encoded part of the output of the encoder 1 with key 1 and key 2, where the key for transposition is the number of columns, for example.